On this exciting mini-episode, it's John Addison versus Marian Fargo. Who you got? It's a special audio edition of my Perry Mason Season 1 Defendants Tournament, now on the Perry Pod. Welcome everyone, I'm your humble host Jonathan Searcy. Before we move on to Season 4 at Perry Mason, I thought I'd finish out our Season 1 Defendants Tournament. The setup, I put all 40 of Season 1's defendants into a bracket. They're facing off against each other for the crown of Season 1 champion. My criteria, pretty simple. Was the defendant memorable? Was the defendant the most memorable guest star in the episode? Slightly different. Did Perry respect the defendant? And finally, do we have any other history with the defendant? You'll see how it works soon enough. This matchup features a movie exec with a Me Too catastrophe of a business partner pitted against a wife whose own husband is blackmailing her. It's John Addison from the case of the Vagabond Vixen against Marian Fargo from the case of the One-Eyed Witness. John forges his own checks on Perry's say-so. Marian tracks down Perry while he's being gouged for a cup of coffee. It should be a good one. Category 1. Was the defendant memorable? John Addison is certainly memorable to me, but I've watched Season 1 of Perry Mason approximately 432 times, so I may not be the best judge. I always love it when Perry investigates the movie biz, and Addison is the rare Hollywood exec in the show who seems to be a good dude. His secretary is sure devoted to him.
But Mr. Mason, this is a great man. He has so much to give. They can't take 20 years of this kind of talent and just lock it up in a cell.
As for Marian Fargo, yep, from that raincoat to the desperation with which she tries to protect her brother, she's a keeper. Advantage, I give the nod to Marian Fargo simply because, and this will come up throughout the episode, it's Angie Dickinson. This is not purely a that person went on to greater things pick. If Addison were the more memorable character, he'd get the nod. But because they're so close, Angie Dickinson's star power is enough to give her an edge. Category 2. Was the defendant the most compelling non-permanent character in the case? Let's see who we've got in the case of the Vagabond Vixen. Well, there's Veronica Dale. Title of the episode is named after her. There's the Lech Edgar Farrell, our despicable murder victim. Veronica Dale's mom, Martha. Get that woman a beer!
Say, can I start by ordering up a beer? I'm so thirsty I could spit dust.
Help yourself.
Haha, swell.
Then there's the actual murderer, Myrtle Northrup, the administrative assistant. And throw in pimp and blackmailer Peter Hansel for good measure. Addison's fine, but he's not more compelling than anyone else on that list. It's a testimony to the abundance of riches of that particular episode. What about Fargo? Well, the husband's a schnook, but that dude's only in a couple of scenes. There's Sam Carlin, our elegant bachelor and murderer. Diane Maynard, our titular one-eyed witness. Brother Charles, our fugitive from justice. Great supporting actor, sure. But this entire case rests on Marian.
In a few minutes, you'll receive an envelope and a retainer. Please deliver this envelope to Mr. Carlin, but only after he gives you a file.
What kind of file?
It concerns a man named Charles Gallagher.
Charles Gallagher.
Yes. Please examine it closely. Unless it's complete and authentic, you're not to pay for it.
I don't need two eyes to testify to that one. Advantage, Marian. Category 3. Does Perry respect the defendant? Perry gets honest with John Addison, which is a form of respect, when he criticizes Addison's hiring of Veronica Dale. He also has Addison trace his own signature to trap blackmailer Peter Hansel. You don't pull that kind of stunt if you're wondering what kind of client you've got on your hands. Perry trusts John. As for Marian, man, she protects her brother at all costs. Perry doesn't criticize her for that, but it also means that when we get to our denouement, he's more concerned with brother Charles getting a reprieve than he is with finding out what's going to happen to Marian next.
And His Excellency the Governor wishes me to inform you that our state has no desire to extradite Charles Gallagher. We feel that Mr. Gallagher has proved he can be a good and useful citizen. Kindest personal regards, George Mayberry, Chairman, State Penal System. That's wonderful.
I thought so.
He's also trying to find out why Farrell's Cafe charges $1 for a cup of coffee, you know what I mean? Advantage, slight edge goes to John. Category 4. Do we have a prior history with the actor or actress? Well, Robert Ellenstein, a.k.a. John Addison, has made one appearance in each of the show's first 3 seasons. Season 2, he's Arthur Cartwright, the client worried about a howling dog who ends up dead. In Season 3, we see him as the medical examiner in the case of the madcap Modiste. Angie Dickinson, on the other hand, only appeared in 1 episode of Perry. But the career, we detailed it in our Della section of Season 1, Episode 23, has got to count for something. Advantage? Push. John Addison is more famous in Perryland, but Marian has clout in the broader Hollywood firmament. Final verdict. The judge finds Marian Fargo the victor in this head-to-head matchup. Congratulations, Marian. May you enjoy time with your once fugitive brother, and may you always avoid expensive French cafes, romantic partners who are duplicitous blackmailers, and bus ride companions who fake sensory ailments in order to frame you for murder. Is that so much to ask? We think not. That does it for this mini episode. Keep on walking! That Park Avenue beats!